Hi, this is Greg with Music in My Ear and Northern Audio, and today we got a long one for you. I wanted to go over quite a few things actually of what's new. We always do kind of an update on what's new at Music in My Ear, Northern Audio, but we're going to combine the two today because, like I said, quite a few things. So let's get into it. I took some notes to keep me on track. So to give you a general theme here too, let me give you an example. We brought in a lot of CD players, but I don't want to jump you all over the store and show you this CD player, that CD player. So just know that's a theme, but I'm going to point them out individually as we go. And all products along the way, such as we brought in the Sodom phono section as well. So things like that. So stay with me. Come with me here. So the first section in this room, you may recognize this room. This is kind of where the bundle systems start, the budget systems, but we've made this a little easier to show you an upgrade path. So in here, let's take our first real bundled system that has components and a separate system, speakers. We did this with the PMA 600NE Denon integrated amp. Sounds wonderful. We have this paired with the Klipsch RP602 M2s. But we brought in their next line, the PMA 900. So if you wanted to see what it sounds like upgrading from this amp to this amp in that same context of a bundle, you now can do that. The other thing, we talked about CD players just a minute ago. We also brought in the DCD 600NE CD player. Sounds really, really good. So that you can add that in as well if you are a CD fan. We sell tons of CDs, 3 for $10. So we have a huge collection of them. If you're looking for CDs, stop down for that. Now also, if you slide over here, if you remember, we brought in the Audio-Technica headphones. There's a whole headphone bar here for you, and you can listen to, again, another CD player, by the way, the Onkyo C30, which fantastic CD player for the money. But we also have a tube buffer that we brought in. So you can combine CD players with tube buffers, give it a little more analog sound, gives a little more holographic sound stage. All these things are meant to work together. Let's look at this bundle back again. So over here, we didn't have any floor standing speakers in here, and this speaker here is kind of the bridge to go over into the next room and start amping it up as far as better quality systems. We brought these in here, so if you want to see what that sounds like, put these speakers on our smaller bundle, you now can do that. So the point is that we're trying to make it to where you have an upgrade path. You actually can hear what that sounds like, see if it makes sense for you, if the value makes sense for you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But now you actually can hear that. So that's kind of, this room has really fell into the starter room. So come on over here. We're going to see what we did over in this room because we really start picking up. Over in here, we put together the system where we have, you can see the spread here. You have 5 different turntable systems now. So why do we do that? If you've been in here before, and a lot of times you may have seen the moving magnet versus moving coil demo, and then we would show you moving magnet versus moving coil on a step-up transformer. Now what we can do is we can really take it from a moving magnet system to a beginner moving coil. We can then add in a project transformer. Then we can add in a Bob's Devices transformer. Then we can amp it up to a Denon 103R. Or we can go upstairs and get some more high-end carts involved, and we'll get into that in a minute. Or along the way, if you wanted to compare a red, Audiphone red, as you will get into that turntable in a second, that's the new Technics SL 1500 CS. But then there's also an Audiphone blue that you see over here. So if you want to hear the difference between those two, those head shells pop off. We'll gladly install that quickly on another turntable for you. So there's a little more digging deeper on the way that you can hear things, compare things, and really dig down to see if this, again, makes sense for you. So let's dig into some of these systems that we hooked up here. So first thing that we added here with the Denon 103R, we brought in the Bob's Devices 120, 140 step-up transformer. The 140 is the actual correct one to use. Sounds fantastic. And we also have the project one. Like I said, you can do the comparison because we know we have a lot of folks out there that started with that bundle, the Denon 103R and the project. Now you can really hear what you would get for upgrading. It does make a huge difference. The other thing we brought in, we like Golden Ear. I think a lot of people know that. Golden Ear, we brought in the BROX. These are their bookshelf guys. ringing at around $14.99. Sound wonderful. We can pull these out in demo. Something cool that we did with these though. So notice we have the REL subwoofers. We did a quick video on that before. Over here, we brought in the REL Airship. So this guy, you can play the Golden Ears hooked up to the Denon 1700 NE, which we'll come back to that. And you can turn on the REL wireless subwoofer and make that subwoofer play across the room with the Golden Ears over here. So this way, if you think wireless may be a issue for you as far as sound quality, but it is something that you would need feature-wise, you can come and test it. It actually sounds really good. REL did a very nice job with it. So that's just one little other layer that not only can you hear the subwoofer, you can hear it wireless versus wired and do it in different positions of the room. So let's talk about this system while we're standing here. Quickly, we talked about CD players. We brought in the 6 CD changer. For the money, that's tough to beat feature-wise. $375 Onkyo, the DXC390. Sounds great. 6 CD changer. And I got to tell you, that's something pretty nostalgic about this actually. Whenever you open this guy up and I just have to show you. Give it a second to load here. Remember that? Isn't that cool? So we have that on display. That if you want to pick up a CD player, rejuvenate the CD collection, we're carrying quite a few of them. It's been quite an interest as of late. Also, you'll see an empty spot down here, and we also have some Super Audio CDs. That'll be here any minute. We're waiting for the DCD 1700 NE. That's the Denon Super Audio CD player. What the goal is there to kind of show you what Super Audio CDs sound like. They do inherently are better as far as their approach to the noise floor and a couple other things. We'll get into that in another video. Also, Super Audio CDs plays a lot into SODIM and HQ player. A lot of folks know we do SODIM and HQ player here. The DSF and the DFF files, that's where you hear people talking about doing high-res and upsampling DSD files. So that's kind of the point to introduce you to what Super Audio CDs actually sound like. And then we have a cassette deck here too, so if you want to run them through the cassette deck and hear what that sounds like in analog, that's truly the best way to do it. So you'll be able to demo that as well. That CD player should be here in a couple days, the Super Audio CD player. Speaking of, back to the integrated amp, we talked about we brought in all of Denon's line to fill in the in-betweeners. This is the PMA 1700 NE. My son actually owns this amplifier, sounds wonderful. This guy is also made in Japan, as well as their flagship one that we have, the PMA 3000 in the main system. So Japanese quality, can't beat it, sounds great, high current amplifier, really has a grip on the speaker. You now can hear what that sounds like, and again, we can hook this up on any of the different speakers that we have here. This system over here that we have on the CD player, we brought over, I should say, the LP8X into this system. This is an automatic turntable, semi-automatic, but of quality, has a good tone arm. You can actually upgrade the moving coil. And this we have paired with the Cambridge Audio. If you can see down below, we're running this with their EXN100, EXA100 DAC. And then we also have a Bob's Devices AI-121 digital transformer that you can turn on and off and see what that sounds like. So a lot going on. Now, if you look over here, don't forget we have the 2 home theaters as well. So if you have the 2 different competing sounds, whether if you like the high sensitivity or if you like a phase and time aligned sound, we talked about previously we were going to bring in the larger Golden Ear subwoofer. That is now here, the Golden Ear XXL subwoofer. Sounds great, certainly on par with that giant subwoofer from Klipsch. Now it doesn't look to be dwarfed by that. So this system, let's talk about this guy. You may have seen the video previously. We did the ATLP2. This is their flagship turntable, brings in about $2,000. Check out the video we did on it. Acrylic turntable, off plinth electronics, comes with a moving coil cartridge. We have this hooked up to where you can A/B it between using a transformer or not using a transformer, but also we brought in the SODIM phono section as well as the linear power supply. This guy sounds incredible for the money. The base unit, it rings in right around $650 or so. The linear power supply, the base units for those are about 500 bucks or so. And why I say or so is there's a couple upgrades that you can do. We'll certainly get into that discussion should you want to get one. But the point being is that these are scalable, upgradable, and for the money right out of the gate, this thing punches way above its weight. It has all the dip switches right on top for you to be able to make different changes to the capacitance, the moving magnet, moving coil section in it. You actually can change the volume, how much you're actually increasing the decibels. So it's a really, really well put together phono section. We have that on display and you can come and hear that. Over here, we also have the SODIMM streamer, but now we've added another linear power supply, which cleans up the power. Silky smooth sound with this. Definitely encourage you to come check this out. And this is the first streamer that allows you access to do HQ Player. We have a good customer of ours who just got the whole SODIMM set up, and wish I could show some of their text messages. They are just blown away. So if you haven't heard SODIMM or known about SODIMM or HQ Player or any of that, stop in. We're really fleshing out that concept. And to give you some perspective, all this SODIMM rig, this is for streaming. We're doing this through a $400 Cambridge audio DAC. You will be blown away what that sounds like just by cleaning up the front end of the streaming. So that's what we have going on in this system here. Lots going on in Music to My Ear. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few things as far as equipment, but stop in and we'll certainly include that on the tour. As far as the vinyl is concerned, don't forget the 45 room has not changed. That is certainly more organized than ever. We have more 45s than ever. That is completely organized, alphabetized. If you're in the 45s, come and check that out. The Analog Productions wall, we have a complete commitment to make sure everything is in stock, bring in all the new titles. You'll see over on the wall, we have all of the new releases that is at least available to retail stores. Sometimes they don't put them out right away. But nonetheless, we have a commitment to that. The hip-hop section, we've been keeping that stocked up because we talked about that a little bit before. And the long game with vinyl is, a lot of folks know that we do the jazz and we're real big into the audiophile vinyl as far as the jazz pressings. We now have dove into hip hop. We're now going to start down the path of funk and R&B because the long game is to be able to get the hip hop album, see the funk album that they sampled, pick up the jazz record that inspired the funk album, bring it full circle, and actually do this in an educational format. Learn a little bit about why the music you like and where it came from. So that's a little bit of what we're doing with the vinyl side of things. Plus we have Record Store Day coming up. We're going to do a separate video on that. It's going to be the biggest one ever. And beyond that, there's even more stuff upstairs in Northern Audio. So come with me. And up here at Northern Audio, we've added quite a few things as well. So if you take a peek over here, we kind of rearranged this system a little bit. We brought in the Luxman Integrateds. They're back, all the upgraded 505Z, 507Z, 509Z. So in here we have the 507Z. We have this paired with the Totem Elemental metal. Sounds wonderful. If you've never heard Totem speakers, these are really, really great sound staging to them. Very deep, very wide. It's that phase and time-aligned sound. Pairs very well with the Luxman as well. But up here we also have the Technics 1300G that we moved over into this system. And keeping with the theme of being able to compare things, this has the 2M Black. So let's just give you a quick example. Let's say downstairs, as we mentioned, we have the red and we have the blue on the floor, and you want to see what that sounds like with the black. We can do that. We can run up here, grab this, install it downstairs. See if that makes sense for you on your system. Let's take that concept one step further. So you'll see up here, in general, we have a lot of different phono stages, DACs, whatever the case may be, higher end component. If you wanted to hear what that sounded like on something downstairs, we could accommodate that. Why would we do something like that? At the end of the day, most people are not walking in here with a pile of cash and buying their dream system. We build this over time. And there is a period of time where you may have mid-fi mixed with hi-fi. And you need to know what that sounds like, what that synergy is, and we're quite all right with that. Let's say you have an amplifier at home. We've had plenty of customers come in and they bring them in and see how that works with a particular set of speakers that they're looking to buy. Or vice versa, if you have a speaker that you're wondering how that amp would drive, if you're willing to drag them in, we're willing to accommodate. So that's just a little bit to kind of flesh out the concept of what we mean on really understanding and discovering what, how, why, that would make sense for you. So back to what's new up here. Like I said, the Audiphone 2M, and then from here we start converting over to moving coil cartridges. Down here you'll see we brought in the RP1. So again, along the upgrade path, if you think the RP3 as a preamplifier versus the RP1 may be able to get it done feature set wise, you can find that out. Now we have that paired with the ATC SCM40 active speakers as well. Again, another really, really good pairing. Having a tube preamp really gives you a nice liquid type sound stage. And then ATC, everyone knows who they are, known for their soft dome mid-range, pretty much in every studio around the planet. So that's a really, really good pairing as well. Over here, again, along the theme of being able to show you the upgrades. So this is the same Denon 103R cartridge that we have downstairs. And we did a quick video on this, but here the Technics SUR1000 integrated amp. This is their $12,000 integrated. And this has, we did this before in a video, but it has a special phono section DSP'd for the 103R. So that paired with the Nottingham turntable, the Interspace Junior, and we're running that on the Golden Ear T66s. Phenomenal. This phono section and that cartridge, there is a synergy to it like you've never heard. That particular integrated amp as well has a special record that you can play and it will electrically match specifically your Denon 103R, so it can actually get even better than what you hear now. We're going to do that so you can hear what that sounds like. But also you may see these beauties over here. The wood on these is just incredible. These are the Triangle Quator. Forgive me, I'm pretty sure I said that right, but these ring in at about $22,000. They are a bipole design. They have a tweeter that fires out the back, has that signature triangle sound, very airy, very open, and the bipole design certainly lends to that. We have that paired on the Electric Compagnie, and then we also, again, in comparison, we have the Hi-Fi Rose versus the Electric Compagnie Streamer. We can compare those two. All of these systems can all be interchanged and hooked up with each other. The other thing that you'll see in here as well too is down here actually the Hi-Fi Rose Streamer, and then we brought in the RD160 DAC to pair with it. But then we also have that hooked up to the Hi-Fi Rose integrated amp, which we can throw that into the mix if you like that industrial look. We have that all paired together now. So let's step into the other room here and I'll show you a couple of the other things that we have going on. So in here, we brought in quite a few pieces. So the Onkyo stack, the Icon preamp and amplifier, we have that hooked up with the Cornwalls. We did a quick video on that as well. Every day become more and more impressed with that. That is quite a synergy. You can certainly tell they were meant to work with each other, but I encourage you to come hear that because for the money, it's an all-in system, tough to beat, but I've never heard these Cornwalls driven so well. So we have that hooked up. Along the theme of being able to compare, we have a Technics, this is their Super Audio CD player, has a streamer DAC, and we're also running the Lab 12 DAC with it as well. But all of these systems can all be played at the same time. Not that you would do that, but you could turn down the volume on one and go right to the Cornwalls, right to the La Scalas. So this way you can kind of see exactly how these speakers jump in sound stage and quality and just the way that the effortlessness happens as you step up in sensitivity, and then we can go over to the K-horns. So the point is it's all meant to work in a synergy. We also, if you can see up here, we just brought in the Technics. This is their 1200 GME, the Grandmaster Edition. And we threw an Audio-Technica Art 20 cartridge on it. This is their $3,200 moving coil cartridge. Phenomenal sounding. The attack on the plucks of strings and just the dynamics of this cartridge, it's incredible. This is definitely something to hear. Right out of the box, it sounds really, really good. So that being said, if you look down here, we have a smattering of phono sections. We can try this on a line magnetic. We can step that up to a PW1 Grim. We can go to a Mola Mola. There's a Luxman, amongst other ones in here. Again, all interchangeable like I just mentioned. We can drag one of these guys downstairs. We all got to start somewhere. So that's the point of what you see going on here. And then when you come over here on this system, we brought in a Golden Ear XXL subwoofer for up here as well, because a lot of people don't know we actually have a Golden Ear on-wall theater up here as well. So if you're looking for theater sound, but you don't want it to take up a bunch of space, but you don't want to kick holes in the wall either, the Golden Ear on-wall speakers sound really, really good. Gives you that theater experience without a lot of space filling. The other thing we've added in here is we brought in a AI-121 digital transformer up here that we use on the K-horns and running on a reel-to-reel deck. And you can put that on and off so you can see a little bit about what that sounds like. So lots going on up here. Like I said, there's plenty of new things at MTME, plenty of new things at Northern Audio. So we're just going to combine them all. But more fun than that is to come and see it in person. So if you're coming from the audio show or just in general, stop in and see us. I'm Greg. Ask for me. I have no problem giving you a tour. We love doing it. Check out the Google reviews. You'll see we do it enthusiastically. So come and see us, 3003 Babcock Boulevard. And thanks again for listening to the music.